It's day 4 of the work week. Loads. We have an issue, a dilemma. Are we gonna get our 60? It's not looking like it right now. We're probably gonna be a couple short. Y'all hang out. Let's see what happens. Day 4 of the work week. See a truck sitting over there getting loaded right now. That truck had an air conditioner just go out a minute ago. I know some of y'all may be like, oh, it's just an air conditioner. Y'all don't need that. You're going down the road at 60 miles an hour. It's 100 degrees outside right now. So that driver's gonna work till he can, just can't stand it no more today. He'll probably get 3. And I'll have to see about getting one of my other truck drivers to make up his 4th load. So he'll have to pull 5. We're also on another dilemma. The wood is getting so long that we're having to figure out ways to shorten it up to make it go through to get out of one delimber and go to the next loader and then get on the trailer. We're only legally allowed 20 feet of overhang behind the trucks in daylight. Not 20 feet and 1 inch or 20 feet and a half of an inch. It's 20 feet. So they're over there. We got a year of the saw running. That guy's got to get the tape measure and he's got to keep measuring and making sure that the wood is not too long behind the trailer. And that's something that we don't ever hardly encounter. So so the wood is so good that it's starting to cause, I guess you'd say, some hidden issues. We had an issue with the saw on the John Deere 748L, or 740, the John Deere 853M, and the technicians for our dog eat store come out yesterday, and it had something, just a pressure got off, and they tightened all that up and got the saw picked back up. So we'll talk to Matt in a minute and see what he thinks about the saw improvements. Other than that, though, just the drama of trying to get our 60. It's never-ending battles. We're only going to be working technically 5 days this week, even though today is Friday. Oh no, y'all should be able to see that skidder behind me. Michael, he's been doing a really good job. But anyway, we're having to when you're running just enough each day to get by, because that's all that we can get done. You have one slip up like today, and now you're looking at missing your 60 load goal by 1 or 2 loads at the end of the week, and that sucks. So we're trying to push hard and get our loads. We're still on I believe this was called the Hill Tract. I'm gonna start going over my track names with y'all so we can kind of keep y'all informed on exactly where we're at. But it's the nice the first thinning that I showed y'all the other day. It's the nice first thinning that y'all were watching me, or yeah, in the last video talking about the seeded in stuff and whatnot. So some questions I received on that. It's a combination of it just being older and then reseeding itself in, and then there was a big clear cut in behind it, and then all this timber, and then all this timber over here that kind of seeded in on top of it. It's a really isolated area. It was originally part of the patch that we first started cutting on this track here, of the second thinning that was planted in 1995, that my dad had first thinned around 2008, it's about 2008, 2007, somewhere in there they probably first thinned that. But they could not get to this back here because it was landlocked, meaning this little field that y'all see over here sometimes in some of my shots beside us and stuff, that little field is a private property deal. So it's landlocked behind that. There was no access to it, and then all this timber here would have been a little bit younger than that up there, and they couldn't have went through this timber because it wasn't worth working in yet. And then on top of that, it's surrounded by like a hardwood flat. So the hardwood flat, they couldn't cross it because it was wet at the time. I believe our truck's fixing to roll out. So they just had to leave it. It was 17 acres, 16 point something acres. It basically is 17 acres. And we had to go through our second thinning to the first thinning, and then I had to cut an access actually through this private landowner here. We had to get permission to do that because we couldn't even access it through our second thinning because the ground at the end of the second thinning had gotten so wet. So that's why it had been abandoned, I guess you'd say, for 24 years. We'll watch our truck roll by here. Some good wood. But anyway, so that's why it was landlocked like that, and that's just sometimes some stuff like that happens in the logging industry. You get little patches isolated here and there. It's not near as bad on company land as it is private land. I have another track that I'm going to be cutting here soon, hopefully, that's going to be the same way. It is landlocked in behind 4 different landowners, and we're going to be crossing other people's properties to get to it. And this will be a good one for y'all to watch on, because it's going to have a lot of special stuff we're going to have to do with it, as far as like building roads and access points and stuff to get into it. It is also so small because that is the benefits of thinning your timber. This is one of the things that a lot of people, the timber industry is killing, you know, causing global warming, all this and that and the other. That is one of the things, and I'm sure I don't think I pointed it out in that video, but if you go back and you look at that video as we're walking through there, you see a bunch of dead pine trees laying on the ground. There's a bunch of them still standing that are not completely rotted down yet. There's several benefits to managing your timber and thinning your timber in a timely fashion, because whenever you let it stand like that, that back there should be as big as that stuff up front, and that stuff up front is honestly, it's ready to be clear cut, because it grew so well, because it got thinned and opened up and everything else. We really didn't need to thin that, but there was some pulpwood still in it, so we run through it to get the pulpwood out, so the clear cut crew has nothing but a grade, you know, saw timber log track to go cut now. And it's good ground, so they'll be able to have a good ground track when the winter comes. They'll probably, like I said, they'll probably cut that one in about 5 years. I think they're talking about letting everything stand for like 5 to 7, and then wiping. There's like several hundred acres right here, and they'll wipe everything out and restart it all as one new track, instead of having like this. There's a stand right here behind y'all that you can't see. That's it's a 1986 age group. Then this here is a 1998. Then the first thinning back here in the back is 1995. And then the first thinning, or the second thinning up front, is 1995. But if they just mow it all down at one time, they won't have to come back, you know, for a bunch of little small pieces. It's easier to maintain and manage a large area versus 10 acres here and 30 acres here and 20 over here. It makes it a whole lot easier on the timber company. But back to the thinning side of things, and I'm explaining on this because I had several comments. It was I didn't figure there would be as many people asking questions about it, so I figured I'd kind of fill in some of the questions and gaps. I answered as many as I could through comments, but I figured I would do a better job on addressing it in a video. So the other thing, you know, as I was saying, one of the key benefits to thinning, you look at this stuff here standing behind us, you see how big it is. This is 1998, and it was thinned, and now it's, you know, thinned again, and it's going to get even that much larger before it clear cuts. What happens is the trees they'll start growing, and they'll grow to the limbs start compressing on themselves, and then the trees slow down their growth, and instead of growing out to make nice quality logs, they grow up, and they make slender, more slender trees. They make a stronger tree, in my opinion, because growing out can sometimes make the tree brittle, but when it goes up, it doesn't have the room to grow out, so it don't grow out. And the weaker trees that you would normally merchandise and save in a first thin, you lose them because they're going to die before you get it first thinned. So it's very important to thin your timber. Our stuff comes online in our area at about 12 years of age to be thin. In my opinion, a good average would be somewhere between 14 and 16 years of age to thin it. You get more volume off of a track, and it's easier for your logger to make some money, and so on. When you go to getting into, most especially the 10 and 11-year-old stuff, it becomes such a hassle for the logger to cut it that young. He's spending so much money in fuel and wear on the machines, having to work harder, and everything that goes along with that. The logger is having to compensate. He's having to just eat that and try and make up the production, and he don't make the same money he would working in something that's a lot nicer and moving the same volume, and it's not burning as much fuel and everything like that. So anyway, that kind of fills you in on the first thinning back there that we're working on. Why the trees are smaller, how it got like that, why it don't have rows. I can't tell you that there was rows actually planted in it, because there's a very strong possibility that was hand planted, and there was no rows in it to begin with. A lot of today's stuff is still hand planted, but they plant in rows on the beds and everything. If they did not have, back in that time frame, they were still cutting off with chainsaws and everything like that in our area, and there wouldn't be they would have just planted it without no rows. They'd have just been sticking trees however they could stick them in the ground. And as wet as that is back there, and knowing that they got to plant in the wintertime, I'm 95% sure that it was planted by hand, and probably just planted at random instead of being planted in a plantation style stand. And so when you do that, you lose some of your some of your timber, because some, you know, instead of them being spaced out evenly and stuff like that, and even your more suppressed trees will still live until it's time for them to be thinned. If they get planted too close together, being just stuck in the ground everywhere, those trees will die before, even if you was to cut it at, you know, 14 years old, those trees are more than likely either going to be dead or they won't be grew enough to even be merchandised, so you still have lost them. But anyway, so that should kind of catch y'all up on the first thinning. We got the rubber tire 718 cutter walked over to the new spot yesterday. It's second thinning. The name of this track will be the Carpenter Bridge Road track, and it is 86 acres, and it was planted in 1998. It is probably better wood than what is growing here. It is growing in a, for lack of better words, a river bottom. It has a bunch of natural sloughs and backwater fill spots where when it floods it washes out. It's a really sandy area and a really clay based area. It's kind of weird dirt. The ground should be really good. The roads in there, if it rains any at all, it's going to be very, very slick, very, very nasty. So we're looking forward to getting this cleaned up. We should be cleaning this up today. Matt should be just about done with the first thinning back there. I figure he'll probably be done about lunchtime. We have all day of hauling here, and hopefully I may actually hear Matt coming out now. But anyway, we should hopefully be able to get a cutter other than the track, other than the rubber tire. We get both cutters on over there today and get started cutting, and hopefully we will be able to maintain our 60 load. Right now we're on schedule to get it, but like I said, if this truck misses a load, we're kind of, you know, we're getting in jeopardy there. So anyway, we'll be back in a minute. What's wrong with our mill?
Changing 2 cables on one train.
It's nothing major?
Major enough. Take about 3 hours to change them probably at least. So they unloaded with a knuckle boom too, but it's just straight up wood with nothing slid back. I told him if he didn't mind, I'm putting one slid back until we get the crane back going. Maybe I can get down there, you know, a little bit better, you know.
979
320. Why is he sitting over our burning field just making dirt?
It's Matthew.
Okay. 30.50. Like, kill that damn noisy thing. Shit, he ain't doing that. Where you gonna move your actual wall, or?
I don't know. If you was gonna try and do 5, I wasn't gonna bother you.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do 5. Help him, you know, help the squirt out. I know this sitting in line is gonna hurt him, but I said, you get 3, I'll try to get 5. But if you wanna move him, squirt comes back, he'll be coming back to his third one. He might can jump, move him, and then take him below the river, you know. That won't be too bad on the whole thing. My opinion, that's between y'all now. That's my opinion.
We can probably swing that.
Yeah.
That's probably just gonna go ahead and take him over there and let him start cutting with the rubber tire.
Over 10, boy.
Truck driver stealing my pen.
Well, like you don't know my name.
It says signature. It don't say.
That says print name. Anybody can print my name. It's legal. You're not going to get put in jail for it. You can probably sign my name and be alright. My wife does. Oh, that's on camera. Remember, if she goes to jail, it ain't my fault.
With all
the date too.
Well, I don't know if today we're gonna get them used on them coupons.
Well, you just give me it. Didn't you have it laid up here for me?
Yeah.
Okay, you should have
put
the date on it.
I filled out everything. Anyway? Today's the 6th.
Okay.
I filled out everything else for you.
Well, you got to do all of it or none of it.
This is probably the hardest truck driver I have to work with.
That's the easiest one you got to work with. That's for sure.
He's the oldest one out of the bunch that we employ, that's for sure.
Yeah, Lord, I need to talk.
We call him Grandpa. He's still got like 10 years to go before he can retire though. And I tell him when he gets to 60, we're gonna just have him put in the shop and rebuilt, and he's gonna run another 20.
I wish I'd go ahead and rebuild right now because things is wore out.
How long you been trucking, puppy?
39 or 40 years.
39 or 40 years. I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah. I started when I got out. Actually, I stopped in Odell. Got my chauffeur license with a loader all on.
Really?
Yeah, I was driving already and didn't have chauffeur license. I stopped and got them when I turned 18. I graduated in 80. I've been driving ever since. Yeah.
So you've seen all kinds of makes and models of trucks.
Yep.
2-stick shifting Max.
Rode them too. Yeah, that's why I walk right there. Them Max would be to death back then. We're spoiled now though. Yeah. This is spoiled. I drove international for the whole summer. Hot, sitting in line and everything else. No air. But I didn't like it. But I drove it. I had to.
Yeah, now you got leather seats and XM radios and air ride.
But we used to get up at 2:30 either in the morning, you know, trying to make sure we got our loads and all that. We just worked about, go to wood about 6 o'clock, wood about 3. And on Fridays we push 12. They say, whatever y'all got, we need a certain amount of loads. Y'all get them loads and we're gone. So we bust. We get them loads, we go to house. But it's a lot more rain out too back then.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I first started driving, I made like $12,000 a year. That's what I made.
$12,000 a year.
Yeah. And made it.
I don't even know
just as good then as I do now, really.
I don't even know if I could feed myself on $12,000 a year.
Oh yeah, you do it. I mean, you just didn't have a lot of it. Then I upgraded myself and bought a pulpwood truck. That didn't last long. It had to be loaded by hand.
Yeah.
It had no brakes.
Yeah.
None. Roll up on the scales and kill it. And hope it stopped before it went off the other side. It had 6 of them. Yeah, it's dangerous.
Logging used to be real dangerous. My daddy's got lots and lots and lots of stories of him and his uncles working with no brakes, driving loader trucks around, no windows, no doors.
Oh yeah, we drove, Daddy drove one for a lot. In the wintertime, that wasn't nothing. You put a toboggan on, and I know you know where the toboggan is, and a racing helmet with a shield. Yeah. And he didn't have no front windshield. He didn't have no brakes either. It was about a 65 GMC, 2-ton, with a Prentice loader on it. I think it was a 210 Prentice maybe, big loader, 4 feet. And that's what we drove from spot to spot. And if he couldn't climb a hill, I'd get behind him in a Chevrolet 78 Chevrolet pickup and with bumper guards on front, and I'd hit him over that hill. And he'd be on his own again. He didn't have no brakes either. Of course, the law didn't like it so
Logging used to also be a very outlaw type employment.
That's for sure.
Look, we'll get Matt on camera too while we're here. We done been bugging Matt this morning. We just talking.
Just rolling.
We'll probably fix to take you over and let you run rubber tire the rest of the afternoon. This one can't set still.
Have we done a drug test on him here lately?
I don't know. It may be time one of them company randoms, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you better hurry up. He'll have you overloaded. All right, well, I hope y'all enjoyed that little bit right there. That was it's hard to find time to stop, especially truck drivers, and talk with them. He's probably the most liveliest one out of the bunch. He definitely gives the best commentary on things. He also races. He was a pretty big name around the area back in the day. If y'all look real close, we always called him the Snowman. He looks just like Jerry Reed, and about 10 years ago he really looked just like him. Getting some age on him, he's looking a little bit different now, but we always call him the Snowman at the racetrack. Tell him we need to get him up. Oh no, the Basset Hound, the bandit, Snowman hand? Yep.
Fred. Fred?
Yeah, it's Fred. We're gonna get him a dog named Fred, Basset Hound dog. Let him ride in that truck with him. My mom would have a heart attack if we put a dog in one of them trucks, as much as they cost. Radiator on that thing kind of nasty. Blowing it out too. Here comes easy money, Mickey. Somebody got a raise. So instead of bologna sandwiches, you can now go eat McDonald's dollar menu?
That's right. They changed it up. $1 hamburger, used to be $1 cheeseburger. From double. That thing went to almost $2 now.
$2 for a McDonald's hamburger. What do you think about that?
McDonald's hamburger ain't worth buying.
No, it's not. McDonald's chicken nuggets, they're hot and spices are okay. What do you think about hand letting the thing get that dirty? I know.
It's a constant battle from the worm to the spoon.
Lord knows what you call doing in the battle.
What are you doing, Huey? Getting what?
This piece out of my area tape.
It won't take? Have you tried rolling the head over in a different position? Try dropping a saw file up inside of it?
No, I got them too.
So anyway, we're cut out. Looks like he's been tightening up his tracks. Tracks are back nice and tight. They were getting pretty loose. Y'all see these rollers here. That's how you know that one might be hanging a little. No, it's still rolling all the way around. That's a big thing to make sure stay looking shiny like that. Otherwise it'll hang, and then they'll wear on the rails. So all of those are rolling, so that's good. lot of upkeep with a track cutter. So what he's doing right there is he's taking a saw file and he's like jabbing it up in that hole where the grease goes. And sometimes that grease will get in there and it'll get a little hard, and it won't let that little area take grease. Have you tried a new grease fitting?
It's coming out the grease.
Oh, it's coming out the grease fitting on there?
There was dry grease.
Dry grease where?
Dry hard grease.
That's probably what it was then. You're gonna stab yourself in the hand. Looks like everything else is taking grease nicely though. We grease pretty well every day. What I was talking about before, got another video or so talking about this, especially the head. I can see kind of down in there. That's an actual, like a rubber O-ring type thing. Keeps dust and sand from getting in there on the pin and everything. It's at every joint. It's, you know, it's there. You know, every joint. There we go. A little bit there. It's on the. Zoom you out a little bit. It's on the bottom there. And then same thing here. You know, every joint has that. From their testing, it seems to be holding up pretty well. And this head was designed to cut eucalyptus down in Brazil, South America. They didn't think they had a market to sell something like this in the United States, so they wasn't even really worried with trying to market it, and then a few of us got wind of it, and I had to try a regular manual gun to help blow it through. I think, have you tried just picking it up and letting it hang in the air and grease it?
I've got them other two things, it's not that one.
So it's got 3 grease fittings down here. See one there in the middle, one over there, and then one right there. And this one will not take, so gonna break out the manual gun. Sometimes those automatic ones will like pop off before you can get it to. There it went, yeah. See, sometimes that manual gun, that one, that is nice. We love those electric guns. Sometimes they'll pop off before it'll knock a hard spot in your greasing out. Well, we keep one of them manual guns. We also keep a manual gun around for the operators that don't know how to keep things clean, because those are like $250. So only the people who know how to keep their stuff clean gets to use them. Huh, Matt?
Yep.
Matt's, that's why you see Matt. He gets to keep one in his shear with him. Show y'all this. the only other operator I've ever had keep the inside of my machine clean like I do. That goes a long way. Alright, so I guess we'll quit pestering Matt. We'll go find something else to look at. Still not sure on what's going on with that one truck. If he's gonna haul his 4 loads today, if he's gonna get 3, and then I'm gonna have to get one of my other trucks to make it up, or what, because they just called a minute ago and said they're having to pull some routine maintenance on the cranes at our mill. So the cranes are down changing some cables or something. We will not haul all this wood today. The skidder is still skidding, and there's, I'm gonna say that's 6 or 7 loads in that pile, plus this little dab of hardwood. Other than it being a different contract, the landowner and everything will stay the same. So I'll take that little dab of hardwood with me to the next spot and finish it out over there. But so yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Figured I'd take y'all over and let y'all watch Matt real fast, what he's got going on. We'll be back. Hey, I don't think you're supposed to knock that chain off. I don't think you're supposed to knock the chain off. Well, I'd find me something else to do besides knocking chains off. Alright, so we're just flying through here. I was going to show y'all where where I punched the little access through the private timber that I was talking about earlier. And you can see how, it's just basically just a bunch of there's some pine trees there, but those are not planted pines. Those are just natural regeneration stuff. You can see how we just kind of eased around through here. I tried to make sure I went around anything that might have been a merchantable type hardwood or pine or anything like that. I went around it where I was doing just bush hogging a trail through the brush here. You can see we're starting to come back up on it. It's just a little short piece right here that we had to go through there, and then we're coming back up on the big pine that you see. That's our stand of timber, and all that on the left where the water is at that's the second thinning that we had done last week. I'll kind of zoom around here or pan around here and let y'all look at that. And then you can kind of see over that way where the old access was that we had in the second thinning. And then I spin y'all back around and we're looking back at like the first thinning that we were doing, and you can you can see where Michael had to put a bunch of the slash in the access there to build a mat through it because it was really soft and wet still here. And I kind of pick y'all up, and you can see how we got the timber strips left that we had to manually put in it. And then you can also see how the trees are more opened up now, whereas on the last video you could see how dense and tight the trees were on themselves, and that's why they didn't grow well. And now they're opened up and have plenty of space to grow and just really put on some weight now and make some nice logs for the future clear cut crew. We're flying over looking at the wood that was left on the ground to be picked up still, and you can see that it kind of stops. You can see the pine plays out right here in front of you, and it looks like different trees. Those are hardwood trees, and it's like a hardwood flat bottom in there in that area, and it was standing in water, so we couldn't go over, go through it. If it had been a little bit drier, we would have. So as a result, there's about 3 to 5 acres of timber that you can kind of see just in front of you up here now that's going to be left. And if you kind of see that line that runs at an angle, that's our property line there. So that kind of gives you an idea of what was still going to be left here, and which we won't have to return to get it. They'll call it a completed track, and then that little area in there will be clear cut whenever, with the rest of it, whenever they come clear cut it in a few years. You can see the skidder now coming back down in here, and I just kind of keep panning around and showing y'all the how open the tops and everything are, and the strips of timber left, and the down rows, and how we tried to shoot them nice and straight and everything like that. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that. I'm gonna throw on some music here and speed it up a little bit and let y'all get a little bit better view, because here in a second I'm gonna I pick the drone up and get a good view of everything going on. So yeah, you guys hang tight. It's the end of the day finally. Things got a little crazy there, and the camera stuff kind of had to get put on hold, but you can see we got moved. We're in a new spot, so that's it's good. We got some wood piled up to start on tomorrow, and the other loader is still at the other spot with about 3 loads at it, a half a load of hardwood to load first thing in the morning, and that'll get the first round of trucks out of here, and then we'll start working over here. We're probably not going to bring the second loader over here tomorrow. We're going to probably wait and do that sometime, like maybe Monday morning-ish. But anyway, y'all can see, man, it's thick on the ground. It's loaded. Y'all can see how thick it is over there. Yeah, see how thin it is over here now. That's where Matt's been cutting. And so anyway, so yeah. New location. I said it was 85 acres. It's 85 acres altogether. It's 55 acres of second thinning, and there's 30 acres across the creek of first thinning. So, but the first thinning is 1998 / timber, so it's gonna be good stuff. But anyway, so that wraps today's video up. Today had some really interesting stuff in it. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Got to talk with a truck driver, and got a flyover of the first thing that we was doing over there. Kind of explain to y'all, give you an overhead view of what we're doing, what it looks like when we, what I call manual thin, instead of it being, you know, all planted out real nice and easy for us. So anyway, if y'all like the videos, make sure you go subscribe for me, and hit the like button, leave a comment down below. I can't appreciate everybody enough. I can't thank everybody enough. I appreciate everyone for all the views, likes, comments. Yesterday's video done really, really well. I'm gonna publish this one on Saturday and see what we get with that. And with the truck, the loads, we are on schedule so long as we get 12 tomorrow for our 60 for the week. We had the cranes got put back together, and Puppy come back and made up that one load that we were talking about earlier. He did get time to make it back and get it, and the other truck is in the shop right now getting his air conditioner fixed, so he'll be back out here in the morning styling and profiling with some new air conditioning. So that should wrap it up, y'all. If you have any questions, ask down below in the comments. I love answering questions, and if I don't get to your question, just know that I've probably jotted it down on a piece of paper somewhere, and I will be answering it in a video. So, we're going to end this with a new saying just as soon as that skidder gets out of here with that noisy ass fan. Instead of log on, I'm going to modify it a little bit and say keep on logging. Just keep on logging. So there we go. That's going to be my sign off. I like that. So until the next video, again, I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all all so much. Keep on logging. We're out of here.